On the last episode of Chronicle, we followed our Pathfinder Initiates to the land of Casimir to track down a fellow trainee, Rain and Cloudy Day. Their investigations brought them to the Verduran Forest, tracking not only Rain, but a group of malicious actors. Setting down camp, after a long day of tracking, the party was attacked by a lone Grimstalker, though it proved to be no match for these society hopefuls as they dispatched it with ease. Tonight, join the Initiates as they continue their search for Rain and Cloudy Day. Sit back, relax, and thank you for joining us on this adventure. This is Chronicle.
What a ghastly thing that was. Dave, are you okay?
I'm fine, Max. Vola, you?
It did not hurt me too bad.
Oh, you're bleeding. I'll patch you up.
Dave has assurance in medicine, so I can just auto-succeed the check at this point, since he's also expert.
If you guys are planning on resting here for the rest of the night, we can hand wave some stuff.
Dave, did you say those things traveled in packs?
Occasionally. You can never really tell with Fae. They're kind of tricksy like that. These guys like to stalk people and get them when they're vulnerable. Probably saw us try to set up camp and thought it was a good opportunity for an ambush. Didn't work out. But if there were more, they would have struck at the same time, so...
Well, at least he brought us some of his own firewood.
Waste not, want not. It's all part of the cycle, man.
I'm sure that sap would actually burn quite nicely.
Yeah. So we're going to start a little fire over this dead body.
Dave's just going to cut off some bits first and just kind of slowly compost it for his meal.
This is where Tack looks to the camera and gives a stare directly at the GM. Like, this is the best you got.
And another one. On your second day of tracking, if I could get another track check from Dave.
Oh, damn! The Nat 20, baby!
So Dave found a map of where their hideout is.
His eyes glow white, kind of like Batman at the end of Dark Knight. For about the rest of the day's travel, you finally get to the end of the trail, where you see a very thick patch of vegetation. And knowing now that you're kind of following a trail, you know to give things kind of a second look. And just beyond this patch of vegetation, you see a stone structure, square in shape, almost similar to like a mausoleum. Some of the brush has been cleared away, revealing a half-open door. And from a distance, you hear a strained groan. Dave, is that you?
Right?
As you see Rain beaten to a pulp, kind of camouflaged into the forest floor. However, Leshy's bleed. He's been bleeding, very bruised. As he kind of sits up, one of his eyes are horribly swollen. To investigate to make sure it is indeed Dave.
Oh, buddy, what do they do to you?
Oh, they got me good.
Ugh, what'd you do this time?
I think I just played cards with the wrong people.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Dave's just gonna roll a medicine check there, and Rain can have 9 hit points while I just chat with him.
That does feel better, Dave. You always knew the right way to. I probably could have healed myself, but we're gonna hand wave that one. So let me tell you a story, Dave. About a week and a half. I don't know. It's fuzzy. They punched me real hard.
Oh dear.
I was down on some funds, and I decided to try to hustle some guys for their gold. Well, that was my first mistake. I got to drinking a little, and I mentioned my mission out here was to find some ruins. I suspected that, it could be thousands of years old, and their ears perked up real big. At the end of the game, I went to bed. I thought that was it. But then the next day, when I went to go meet my guide, Landless, they were there first. And they took me into the forest and told me they'd kill me if I didn't show them where these ruins were. And so I did maybe smart, maybe not smart. You're the judge. I took them the wrong way for a day or two, and they were getting real mad at me. But then a beautiful woman showed up. She had raven black hair, piercing purple eyes.
The fancy lady.
But she was really mean too. Not at the time though. She told me if she leveled with me. She said if I showed them where the crypt was, she would help me find out what happened to Mom, Daisy, and Hashwood. She knew them by name, Dave.
Yo, other people know him too, man. You can't go believing every stranger in the woods. Look what you got yourself into.
Well, that's true, because I got them to the crypt and they beat me up again.
Ugh, you're lucky you're alive.
Are they still here?
Oh, that's a good question.
I've been coming and going. They thought they left me for dead, or they at least thought they killed me. And I think I heard a few leave. I think there's still a couple down there. I think we should all go down there.
Is that what we're looking at, Rain? Is that the ruins over there? The stone structure?
That's it. I found it.
What is it?
I don't know yet.
Do you know why they were so interested in it?
That I don't know. I think they were after a key or something.
Why were you after it?
Well, truth be told, for us to pass our confirmation, we need, to uncover some secret ruins or something of the past, but I kind of had ulterior motives, and I thought that maybe this crypt would hold the answers to what happened to Daisy and Hashwood.
Maybe.
Oh dear, we're all a little bit senseless and blind in the face of love, and don't blame yourself, dear.
I miss Daisy.
Of course you do.
We'll find her.
I still blame him.
Don't mind Tack. He's got trauma.
I don't think that crypt really is Lanty, but I do believe there is something down there that at least could help me in my confirmation, and I guess that brings me to, how are you here?
Ironically, we're doing our confirmation. It was to find you.
Well, that's easier than mine was.
Yeah, and I have a team. Why are you doing this solo?
Usually that's not allowed.
The head brass was a little worried about you.
Yeah.
Well, that's comforting. Well, he's gonna brush off some dirt off his fungus body. What say you guys, we go in and we complete my confirmation?
Let's do it.
All right, so question.
Yep.
This fancy woman that came out of nowhere, she was friends with these bandits, right? No?
She was at least friendly towards them.
Okay. And she went with some of them.
She led them all with Rain
Yeah.
to the ruins.
Okay.
And then who went where is unknown to Rain, but he knows that at least a decent handful had left.
Fair.
But not all of them, he doesn't think.
Okay.
You guys do see a few, probably a few dozen yards away, behind some pushed aside brush. You see the footprints going in of this large stone door with some druidic type carvings into it. It looks pretty heavy, maybe about 10 feet tall of stone. Yeah, I haven't been in yet, but I'm really eager to. I still feel a little bit of their beatings. If I want to go in with you guys, but if you wouldn't mind, I'm gonna kind of stay back if we run into any trouble. I can heal. I mean, I'll be here if you guys need any healing, but I'll be just maybe a pace behind you guys.
Also, remember to keep an eye on our backs. We don't want any more of these bandits to come up from behind.
Yes, sir.
So I guess Tack is gonna, take point on walking in.
I'm following you.
So the door is closed. You see this probably about 5 to 6 feet wide, very large stone door that you could see. The closer you guys get, the closer it's resembling like a tomb or a mausoleum.
How tall did you say it was again?
Probably roughly about 10 feet.
Okay.
Expecting trouble, Dave's going to go ahead and put up his kinetic aura and use his armor and earth to encase himself in stone armor from the dirt.
Okay, who would like to push this door open?
Can Vol check for traps first?
Yeah, give me a secret perception check. So examining the door, any opening mechanism, any hinges that you can see, Vola, you don't seem to detect any traps on this door.
I think it is safe.
Tack will nod and he will push the door open in a careful manner, trying to avoid noise.
Pushing past the heavy stone door that was hidden by this forest vegetation, you find yourselves in a cold, damp chamber. You see the evidence of time intruding through the cracks of the stone floor and the walls with moss kind of everywhere. The chamber is completely empty, save for what kind of looks like a stone sarcophagus on the opposite wall.
Do we see any evidence of others being inside?
Yeah, give me a perception check. You see quite a large number of footprints coming in and out of the entrance. There's so many, it's kind of hard to tell where they're going or where they're coming from. You do catch a couple that seems to be coming from the sarcophagus.
Okay, Vola will step up to the sarcophagus and examine it to see if maybe there's a way to open it or a secret passage or something.
Think they're hiding in there?
I'm going to use your prior perception check, Vola. Examining the sarcophagus, maybe giving it a gentle knock, Vola notices that it's actually rather hollow and can probably be pushed to the side.
I think this is where everyone else has gone. Should we go inside?
Well, we gotta get some payback for Rainy here.
Go ahead, Vola dear, to open it up, see what's inside.
Go ahead and give me an athletics check. With a 23, as Vola starts to grunt, pushing the stone sarcophagus out of the way, you see a stairway leading maybe about 20 feet down with a source of light at the bottom, and you hear quick footsteps followed by "someone's here," and suddenly you hear followed by some deathly screams of pain.
I'm not an expert, but I think somebody just got pincushion.
It did sound particularly ominous, didn't it?
Tack, you go first.
Strange sounds. Regardless of what happened, they knew we're here, so we might as well say hello.
At the bottom of the stairwell, you see the corpse of a robed person lying on the ground with a spear in their torso and in the right side of their head. Ahead of you is a fairly long corridor, maybe about 150 to 200 feet long, only 10 foot wide, and at the end of the corridor is a large iron-banded door with a large skull on it.
Can we tell where the spears came from? Like, did they come from our direction, from the walls, from the far wall?
We're kind of guessing off of his side. If you could roll me a secret perception check.
Sure.
So you kind of examining the corpse and noticing the spears mostly in his right side. If you feel safe to assume that he was running the opposite way of the stairwell, then the spears probably came from the wall to your right, directly, right from his body.
Sounds like booby traps.
We certainly did hear footsteps there.
Might have been his until they stopped.
Let me see if I can disarm the trap. Vola will cautiously move up and try to disarm it.
If you could make me that thievery check.
Alright, she got 14.
So you don't seem to disable anything, but nothing triggers. And what I will give to you is that this trap probably hasn't been reset yet. That this cultist that set it off probably cleared a little bit of the path for you.
Okay, Vola will cautiously move forward then and look for other traps along the hallway.
Okay, so we are going to, let's set some exploration activities. So we will have Vola searching. Is there anything in particular anybody else wants to do for exploration?
I was probably going to do scouting.
Okay.
Which I believe gives us a +1 on our initiative, so if we tie, we win.
I will detect magic.
Dave will also just be keeping an eye out, searching.
Okay, so then for Dave and Vola, if you guys could give me some secret perception checks as we slowly pass this first area of traps that we at least know of.
Ooh, traps plural.
Ooh. We let it slip.
Oh, you guys know me. Dave, what you notice as you guys move a little bit further down, right about here, you notice two fairly different looking tiles that are definitely rigged with some sort of trap.
Hey, Vola, you think that could be something?
Perhaps. Let me take a closer look. I'll try to disarm it again.
And with that, we're going to roll initiative.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Oh no! Mistakes were made!
Got that, Maggie, that. I have taken out everything that's... I don't think this is extreme.
Uh-oh. Did you put the elite template on it again?
Could you believe it? You can't elite template hazards. Psst.
Famous last words from the GM. I don't think this is that bad.
Did I trigger them by moving ahead?
No.
Oh,
You'll see what the initiative for is here in a sec.
okay.
If everybody could give me their initiative scores.
Well, Tack got a 25 after his +6.
Vola got a total of 21.
And Dave?
Dave is sitting on a pretty 24.
And what did Maggie get?
Maggie got 25.
We do have one effect taking place before Maggie starts her turn at the top of initiative. Is anyone an expert in perception?
Yes.
Okay, could you go ahead and real quick give me a secret perception check?
I am also.
Oh, I am as well, actually.
Yeah, I think Dave's the only one who isn't.
It's probably the pot.
Do you want me to do a secret one too?
Yeah. Okay, so everybody is going to figure out what is kind of going on after the four of you, including Rain, gives me this fortitude save. Oh. Rain rolls an at 20 for a 26.
Tack rolls a 13 for 19.
Vola rolls a total of 18.
Maggie rolls a 24.
So that is a 25.
So you guys do start to feel a little bit of nausea as you notice some green, a green type of gas, kind of misty, starting to come into this corridor. With every one of you getting a success, none of you are affected by it except for just a little bit of nausea. Rain and Cloudy Day is actually going to he's going to be invigorated by the atmosphere, and he's going to be quickened for a round as this poisonous gas begins filling the chamber. Maggie, what would you like to do?
Okay, so for Maggie's turn, she is going to cast Guidance on Vola for one action, and then cast Inspire Competent.
You know what? What I'll do is, while you guys are in this room, as the poisonous gas is starting to fill the chamber. If you spend an action to kind of prepare yourself, I'll give you a +1 bonus to your next fortitude save against the poisonous gas. So that will be your third action, Maggie, to find a clean pocket of air. And with that, we will go to Tack.
So, Tack, I'm seeing that these two tiles are there. That means Vola or Dave has probably pointed them out to us.
Yeah.
So Tack will take an action to try to, I guess it would be search, right? Or seek, to see if he can see any traps beyond those two that are readily visible to us.
So with Seek, you can look down a 30-foot cone. So just so you know, if you were not to move, it'll be about 30 feet ahead of it. And if you want to go right up to the traps, you can see even further.
So yeah, I will take a stride to move myself just before those traps. And my second action would then be to seek. Or is it seek or search?
It is Seek. If you
Seek.
could give me private perception check.
Yes. I rolled a question mark for a question mark.
You don't see anything in this, 30 foot beyond where you're standing currently.
All right. And so as Tack kind of bends down and covers his face, he's going to say,
I don't see any more traps.
Anything with a third action would you like to do?
that would have been my third action is to cover my face to.
That's why
Give me
you're
that.
covering your face. That makes sense.
Yeah.
I thought you were like covering your eyes, looking down like you're seeking real far. That's what popped into my head. But I'm the weird one. Dave, that is your turn.
All right. Part of me wants Dave just to charge the traps and trigger them.
Don't worry, guys, I got this.
What part of Dave is that?
The stupid part.
But somehow I don't actually think that's going to help. So instead, he's just going to grow a little protector tree right here, so that anybody adjacent to it, my allies, will take the damage instead if this trap attacks them. The tree kind of like reaches out and protects them with its branches. And Dave doesn't really have anything else to do, so he'll just spend his last action getting that fortitude bonus you mentioned.
And that will be Vola's turn. It will be 2 actions to disable a device.
All right, Bola will step forward to be right in front of it and then attempt to disarm.
If you could make that thievery check for me.
And don't forget the performance check for the Inspire Courage. Or non-courage, competence.
All right, Bola rolls a 9 for a total of 17 on her thievery check.
That is a success as you disable
Nice.
what you realize is mechanical jaws. The tiles, once stepped upon, kind of fold in a half towards whoever is stepping on it and clamps down. And you've disabled the one to the right or to the south side.
Oh, Jesus. That's goddamn brutal.
And you have a third action, Vola.
Well, I had to step up for one of my actions, so I think that was all 3.
Yep, so you do not get the +1. But you're fortuitous, is that the word?
Fortuitous means lucky. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not that great at fortitude, but she'll be fine.
You're not very fortuitous.
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 Fruitidus.
That will be Rain in Cloudy Day's turn. He's going to be a little hesitant about, trying to run up or anything. He's going to kind of stick by Maggie and kind of try to take a look if anybody needs any healing, but with nobody taking any damage, he's going to hold his satchel up to his mouth to try to stop himself from breathing in the poison. He's going to make a survival check. Okay, so he's not going to succeed, but that will be the poison's turn as more gas begins to fill the chamber up. If everybody could again give me a fortitude save. All right, so what did everybody roll for their fortitude saves?
Dave's sitting pretty on a 23.
As tack, I used my Charmed Life reaction as a to give me a +2, which bumped me up to a 26.
Vola got a total of 22.
And Maggie failed with an 8.
Ooh, well, thankfully it is just a regular failure.
Excellent.
Maggie, you start to feel yourself very nauseous as you become Clumsy 1. So Clumsy 1 will mostly affect your movements, your dexterity-based checks, DCs. So for you, primarily, it's going to be your AC and your reflex saves.
Oh dear, I feel quite woozy.
And that will be your turn, Maggie.
Okay. Maggie is going to cast Inspire Competence on Vola again.
And now you can start to move down the corridor if you'd like. This spot is now free of any traps.
Okay, and then she's going to move just in front of Vola there.
That's smart. You don't know what's beyond that point.
Which is exactly 25 feet. And on her last action, she is going to get that +1 that you mentioned.
Okay, perfect. All right, and that will bring us to Tack. The other mechanical jaws, as you can assume, is right in front of you if you have the means to disable that one.
I don't think so. Thievery is not one of Tack's skills. So instead, Tack is just going to kind of run past through, Maggie Square just to the south of him and down the hallway a little bit. And he's going to just kind of start running for it to move his full one movement of 25 feet. And he's then going to take another action to seek and see if he can see anything else down past him.
You want to give me another private perception roll? You see in the walls to the north and the south, about 15 feet from you, on both sides, you see little holes in the stone wall, about dart-shaped, or at least dart size. And on the ground, 2 tiles are pretty obviously pressure plates.
And Tack will shout back,
More traps up ahead!
and he will spend an action trying to cover his face again from this gas that he's desperately trying to avoid.
And we move on to Dave. Dave, you heard Tack just yell about the 2 hazards in front of him, so I've uncovered those tiles to prevent anyone from running into them.
All right, Dave is just going to kind of gingerly step by Vola and Megs here. And then I'm going to leave the tree where it is, because right now it's protecting 2 people, as opposed to just 1 further up ahead. So I guess I'll just stride a bit further up. And I'll just stop right here. And then I'll spend that last action getting that bonus. And that'll end Dave's turn.
Okay, and you don't have to sustain for the tree, do you?
No, it just sits around.
Good tree.
Oh, it's a great tree.
So we will now go to Vola. You have disabled that 1 trap. Don't necessarily have to disable the other one, but it'll be at least good to remember where it is on your way out, if you guys make it out.
If Vola will stride twice to be in front of the next set of traps. And you said it was 2 actions to disable them?
Yes.
Okay, so then her last action, she will just cover her face as well.
Okay. And that will be Rain in Cloudy Day's turn, who will mostly just stride forward. That's 55 feet. He's going to stick there. So technically that's 55, so that would be 3 actions. So then with that, as the poisonous gas begins filling the chamber more and more, if everybody could give me this fortitude save, and this round everybody's getting that +1 circumstance bonus.
Maggie succeeded with a 19.
Vola rolled a 5 for a total of 12.
Oof.
So, Vola, you will become clumsy 1, which affects your dexterity checks, including thievery.
Shoot.
Oh, join the club, dear. We're all a bit woozy today.
Now, let's see. Oh, you only have 1 hero point. I'm not going to bait your ass into this.
I'm gonna save that for rainy.
Yeah, you'll be fine. And Dave, what did you get?
I got a 26, so I think I'm just fine.
And Tack.
Tack got a 19 in total.
All right, Maggie, that will be your turn. Your clumsy, I believe, will have decreased to 0.
Maggie feels an extra pep in her step and is a little bit giddy at that. She's going to pop along 25 feet down the hallway, just in front of Tack. She's going to inspire competence for Vola again. And then she is going to spend her last action seeking that +1.
Perfect. So Maggie is helping Vola overcome the clumsiness.
Maggie's going to yell out at Volva. She's going to be like, "You can do it, girl. You got this. I believe in you."
Don't go all thumbs on us, all right? And that'll be Tack next.
So Tack is seeing Vola just a little clumsy, a little out of her sorts, and he is going to attempt to move here. And so, if I'm reading this correctly, so tumble through, you stride up to your speed, and during this movement, you can move through the space of an enemy with an acrobatics check against the enemy's reflex DC. Does that count for a trap as well?
I would say so.
So Tack is going to come here and try to tumble through by doing a little bit of a wall run off of this wall and to end on the other side as his first action.
And you said that's acrobatics, right?
Yes.
He's a nimble boy. Oh!
Oh, God.
So that was a 1 on the die. Instead of falling directly onto a trap, I think Tack is gonna hero point that one.
Woo! Stick to the wall like Tack.
A 20 is a success.
So just as he's about to slip, his foot catches on the rock that protrudes just a centimeter out, allowing him to make his way across then.
It's very heroic, one would say.
Yeah.
Maggie's gonna clap.
It's always a free action to clap.
So landing after a successful tumble through, Tack has gained his panache and he's a little extra movement flighty, and he's going to take his next action to, or his second action to stride to the end of the hallway, and he's going to spend his third action, instead of, protecting his own mouth, he's going to try to encourage his compatriots to he's going to try to encourage Vola to disable the trap if he can, with some words of encouragement. Just say something like,
Come on, we're all counting on you.
he's not great at that. He's not great at encouragement.
But the fact is he's trying, and that's the sweetest part.
Yeah.
Could you roll me a deception or an intimidation check?
I mean, I would see Tack trying to say something encouraging and it come off as very intimidating, to be honest.
Don't listen to him. He's trying to weed out the weak.
So Tack's words reach you, Vola, as he's not so much trying to intimidate you, but trying to really drive the point that this poison is really starting to fill the chamber. And you get, rather than intimidated, you get this sense of urgency. And I will give you a +1 bonus to your thievery check.
Awesome.
So I will give you a +1. I'm going to give you a +1 status bonus
Nice.
to your next thievery check. Maggie's aid will be a circumstance bonus, so they will stack. Did I look to see what aid was specifically for that? Yes, I did.
Yes, you did.
I double checked too. Don't worry.
I'm going to give Tack a hero point for heroically yelling at his...
Bullying Vola. No.
bullying Vola into being great.
Heroically.
You just climbed a wall like Titanfall. It's pretty awesome.
Parkour.
You know, they always say if you want your kids to be better, you just got to yell at them and
Exactly.
until they get better.
I mean, my daughter's gifted and talented, so...
I mean, it does sound like something Tack would believe.
He and Justin. Vola, that comes down to you. Everybody is counting on you. You've gotten some inspiring words maybe from Tack, if inspiring is the right adjective.
All right. Vola doesn't normally show weakness, but she does look a little stressed at the moment. Doesn't want to be the cause of her companion's death. And she's going to try to disable the trap in front of her.
Okay, Maggie, if you would roll that performance check.
Maggie's performance check is a critical success at 26.
Nice.
So now you get a +2 circumstance bonus from Maggie's Inspire Competence, and a +1 from Tack's speech, his halftime talk.
So she rolled a total of 23 with the
Nice.
+2.
As you can see, that this one was a little harder to disable the pressure plate. With that +3, this is a success, as you have disabled this pressure plate directly in front of you to the south. Again, you guys can leave the pressure plate to the north alone. Just keep it in mind, you know.
Okay, Vola's gonna sort of wipe some sweat off her brow and stride forward.
Y'all are ballsy. No, I don't think anybody perceived, at least around this area.
At this point, we're just trying to get out.
Yeah, that's fair. So your clumsy will go down. Rain and Cloudy Day is also going to stride. And then for hopefully one last time, everybody could give me this fortitude save.
Maggie failed with an 11.
Vola also failed with an 11.
Twinsies.
Day succeeded with a 26.
And Tack got a 20 on the die
Brag.
for a critical success.
Woo!
Needless to say, you are unaffected. Actually, you are quickened.
Oh, nice.
You have been invigorated by this atmosphere of poison gas.
Climb the wall again.
Vola, you are feeling nauseous again, as well as you, Maggie. And we will move to Maggie.
After seeing Tack's acrobatic skills, Maggie is feeling a little bit faint again, just with the thought that she might have to do that. She's going to move up. She's going to stride twice to be next to Tack at the end of the hallway. And then she is going to use her last action for that +1.
Tack, that will be your turn.
All right. Feeling invigorated, feeling like the team is doing great. He's hyped. Tack's gonna just open this door. Let's go! And then second action will be to just kind of stride into the room, kind of forgetting that there is possibly danger.
Only possibly. So, as you open the door, you see a large rectangular chamber. There's lit braziers surrounding the perimeter. In the dead center of this chamber, you see yet another sarcophagus, but this time, it seems like it's carved. A knight in armor is carved onto the lid out of this stone. To the north, you see a person in a robe, similar to the dead one in the hallway. They're operating this strange mechanism that kind of resembles a mining drill. And you see that near what you could probably assume is like an engine of sorts, it illuminates a blue light as the mechanism begins to spin. To the south is another robed figure, but her hood is down, and you see a woman with an unhinged jaw. She begins twirling a scythe, and if her jaw wasn't half detached from her skull, you could probably make out a grin.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my Jesus. What the hell did we walk into?
You've made a grave mistake interfering with the daughter's plans. It's time to make you my lackeys of flesh. And that, I believe, is just 2 actions. Tack, I think you have one more?
Well, Tack's third action, he's gonna unsheath his scourge from his belt and say,
You shouldn't have beat up our friend. He's a fun guy.
"Thank you. I'm gonna just walk out now."
I see what you did there.
Because he's a fungy fleshy. Fungi. I said fungi. I meant fungus. Good God. Jared nailed it, and I've just fumbled the shit out of it. Dave, that is your turn. What you just saw is Tack run into this room and kind of glance around as if, he's looking at other combatants. And you hear the pun, for sure. Enough to know that there is definitely danger up ahead.
Okay, all right then. Dave is going to go ahead and come running on up at his tiny little movement speed of 40 feet. And can I get an angle on that thing? Yes, it looks like I can. Alright, so I'm using Weapon Infusion as a free action to give my upcoming Elemental Blast a range increment of 50 feet and the Propulsive trait. So I'll add half my Strength mod. And then I'll go ahead and make an Elemental Blast of Earth. I'll go Bludgeoning, why not? So Dave will just kind of reach out and kind of yank a chunk of rock out of the ground and just fling it at this thing's head. Not physically, using cool moves. Oh, but that's probably going to miss.
That is going to miss.
And that will end Dave's turn.
Okay, we will move on to Vola, feeling slightly nauseous, a little clumsy.
Alright, Vola will unsheath her orc knuckle daggers and stride into the room right next to Tack. And then can she do a recall knowledge check on the jaw lady?
Yeah. What exactly are you looking for to recall about her?
I guess just what she is or any weaknesses.
Okay, I'm going to let you roll an athletics check to look for weaknesses. I'll post it in the chat. This definitely doesn't look like a zombie of any sort, but you can definitely tell that it's undead, meaning that it doesn't have any physical weaknesses, but it would take damage from positive spells.
Okay. That was all of my actions.
Okay, so we will move on to Rain and Cloudy Day. He's going to start speaking in kind of a strange tongue that only Dave kind of recognizes, as he spends 2 actions to cast a spell. Dave, you hear him start to reach out to whatever is causing this poison to try to see if it is maybe a plant. Okay, he's going to spend an action, roll a diplomacy check to see if this plant will stop filling this chamber with poison. And you guys immediately see the chamber stop filling as it kind of begins to dissipate. And kind of with a free action range, it's going to be like, if you don't mind, I'm going to stay in here. It sounds kind of scary out there.
It's okay. You've had a hard day.
This robed woman is going to move this equipment to aim towards you, Tack. And you see, spending 2 more actions, it starts to, the center mechanism begins to whir and hum, as she is going to send a laser beam at you.
Jesus.
So it is barely just a hit. This blue energy emits from it. You are going to take... She hits you with a 19 of total. She's going to hit you for 5 points of bludgeoning damage. So this thing you can see is now like kind of goes into like a weird little standby mode as some steam has come out of the sides, like these little vents, as it's quote unquote recharging. And that will be her turn. The undead looking woman is going to spend all 3 actions to cast a spell as some bones off to the southwest start to take form, and arises a skeleton who gets to spend its first of 2 actions to move and attack Vola with a scimitar. And this skeleton strides and attacks and misses with a 12 total. And we will move to Maggie.
Okay, Maggie is going to cast Lingering Composition. And then she is going to cast Inspire Courage. And then for Maggie's last action, she is going to use the spell Command on the cloaked hooded woman to the north.
Okay.
I'm gonna put it in chat.
Okay, she will attempt this save.
Oh, goodness.
And get a natural 20.
Oof.
I'm so sorry.
And then I guess that's it.
So I did have an idea. It would be too late to implement it here, but I had this idea that we're going to use in our home Kingmaker game, where I let spellcasters use hero points to make opponents reroll their saves.
Oh, interesting.
Not a bad idea.
Reminds you of the Silvery Barb shenanigans in 5e.
Definitely not that one, because you got to spend the thing that's going to make you, that could bring you back to life in order to do it. And you're not giving like some circumstance bonus to anybody else.
Oh, yeah. It just reminds me of the spell, that's all. Because in 5e, I played a Bard character once, and he just spammed that every chance he got. It was hilarious.
You got to do the meta. I haven't tested enough to implement it here, so I do apologize, Maggie.
Oh, no, not at all. That is okay. Maggie is going to feel a little bit defeated, but she still has the pep in her step, and she's going to do better next round.
That pep will never die.
Maggie is pep queen.
Tack, that is your turn. A little bruised from that device that you can only assume is meant to demolish stone.
And so, a question. So this woman that shot me, for lack of a better word, from her artwork, it seems like she might be a pretty fancy raven-haired woman with purple eyes that we might have heard about from Rain and Cloudy Day, right?
Perchance.
Okay. If I make that little assumption, that is who Tack is going to target, because he's heard of her and was associated with the kidnapping and beating of a fellow Pathfinder agent. So he's going to stride up to her menacingly, and as he does so, he's going to try to do an intimidation against her and call her, what did I have open? I like this one. He's going to call her an ugly crotch goblin, and he's going to reach back as he's approaching and try to intimidate her. Oh wait, I should have targeted her.
That's all right. That is a success.
All right.
So she is frightened 1.
And since he still has that panache from his earlier acrobatics check, I'm going to go ahead and use my swashbuckler finisher, my confident finisher, as my third action strike against her. So that was a 21.
That is going to hit, yeah, for sure.
Nice. And so I will click damage, and that should use up all my panache for 7 points of damage.
And it looks like since she is frightened, that she cannot reduce her frightened condition below 1 until the beginning of your next turn.
That's because of my skill feat, Remorseless Lash.
Nice. I probably will say you notice that she doesn't have purple eyes.
Oh.
Dave, that will be your turn.
Okay. So Dave's going to stride on up to the east side, And he's going to go ahead and weapon infusion. Now, I guess he doesn't need to, because none of the melee options matter for this first attack. But I am going to Elemental Blast this skeleton, this skelly boy right next to me. I'll go ahead and do some, you know what, I'll mix it up. I'll do this vitality damage from the wood element. So Dave will just charge up the pure healing power of nature, slap into the skeleton's face. So I got a 23.
That is definitely a hit.
Alright, so this was a melee attack I did, so I guess to add my strength mod. So 9 points of damage.
9 points, nice.
And then he's going to spend his next action doing the same thing. I will use the weapon infusion to give my melee blast the agile trait this time. So that should be another 23.
Again, we'll hit.
And for another 4 damage.
And you said this was
Vitality.
vitality
It's
damage.
what used to be positive, but they've renamed it. Or they are renaming it in the remaster.
Oh, I see. Nice. Okay, so this you start to see the skeleton begin to really wither away as the undead robed woman is kind of grunting in frustration, trying to kind of hold her sustainment on her summoned minion. Vola, that will be your turn.
Vola is going to stride twice to get in flanking position with Tack, and then she will strike the lady arming the drill with her knuckle daggers. And she rolled a total of 22
So close to a critical hit.
for a total of 14 points of damage.
Bruh.
Oh,
Sneak attack!
Double digits.
kind of out of nowhere. Vola sneaks up behind this, not really sneaks, but rushes up behind this robed woman for a clean stab in the back as her hateful eyes look at you, Tack. Suddenly, those eyes become lifeless as she falls, and you see Vola standing right behind her.
Tack's gonna have a nasty grin.
And that will be the other robed woman, the only robed woman now, if you would. She is going to cast a spell with her first 2 actions. She is going to cast Harm on her skeleton minion and roll Snake Eyes, but heal for 18 points.
Oof.
And then she spends her final action sustaining her spell. With its 2 actions, is going to strike at Dave twice with its scimitar. Get a critical hit for 14 points of slashing damage. And it's going to rear back the scimitar for a second one. That one will miss. And that will bring us to the top of the round to Maggie. Our battle scene right now is to the north, next to this really strange drilling mechanism. Vola and Tack stand above a dead robed corpse. And then to the south is this really kind of grotesque looking robed woman holding a scythe, commanding this skeleton just a few feet away. What would you like to do, Maggie?
So Maggie is first going to stride into the room instead of hovering in the doorway. She's going to come in just a bit to the north of Dave. Because I might want to help Dave, but I don't know if he's dying or not.
I'm half dead.
Oh, goodness. You have half of a life left. You'll be just fine. And Maggie is then going to use her darts to attack the skeleton in front of her, who is immediately harming Dave.
Don't worry, my mushrooms will grow back.
Maggie rolls a 23, grabbing her knitting needles out of her apron and throwing them at the skeleton.
23 is going to hit the skeleton.
Excellent. So that's 13 damage.
Damn.
Wow, what a roll.
Honestly.
So all these needles start... you notice that some of the needles kind of pass through its ribcage a little bit. Not doing quite as much damage, but still a hunk and chunk of damage as one needle actually kind of gets the right little decayed ligament as its arm kind of starts to fall off, making going to make him clumsy 1 from taking a little bit of massive damage there. All right, Tack. That will be your turn.
So Tack is going to turn around and see this skeleton that seems to be being attacked by his comrades and this other individual controlling it, and he will stride down towards her for 1 action. And then the second action, he's actually going to try to tumble through her space. So that will be an acrobatics check against the target's reflexes.
That will be a regular failure.
All right. So as he tries to move through her and she gets in his way, he's just going to take a big swipe at her with his scourge and say, "I swallow this." Oh, wait. And he rolled a 14, which I'm pretty sure misses.
That does miss.
It looked really cool there.
You know, he's had a day. Not everyone's 100% all the time.
Do you got any more hero points?
Not that I want to use right now.
That's fair. Any more actions from Tack?
That was the third action. I'm going to wait till something gruesomely bad happens for my next hero point.
Yeah, that's fair. All right, Dave, that will be your turn.
All right, Dave's gonna cough up what seems to be some kind of green slimish mold, and be like, "Bruh, that hurt." As he takes another swipe at this skelly boy in front of him. Shazam! There we go.
Oh.
Ooh. So that's a 28. $14 damage going to that guy.
14 damage. And what kind of damage was this again? I'm sorry.
That would be vitality or positive damage in the old nomenclature.
Through a nice burst of bright energy, vitality energy, if I understand this remaster correctly, his bones completely disassemble
Oh my goodness.
and fly into nothingness.
Return to the earth, man.
Goodness, he hasn't had a very good day, has he?
And then Dave's going to stride on up to this fella. Weapon infusion to give my melee elemental blast some agile, and pull the exact same thing. Chunk of raw nature is coming this guy's way. So that roll should be 4 less with the map. So 18, but I think that's still a hit.
18 is a hit.
So take 9 points of damage. Vitality damage.
All right, Vola, that will be your turn. To the south of the room, you see the undead robed woman starting to get a little bit surrounded by your companions.
Well, Vola's gonna follow that trend and stride twice to the south of the room to flank with Dave. And she will strike her with her dagger. She rolled a total of 13. I'm going to hero point that.
That is courageous of you.
And total of 24 now.
That is a hit.
And does another 14 points of damage.
Whoa.
Let me make a note here. Make encounters where Vola can't flank.
Flanker's got a flank.
Because good God. Oh, I accidentally forgot the little swirl on my K. So I accidentally wrote male encounters. And that is not what I intended at all.
Not for Volar, at least.
It takes us back to the Craigslist days, looking for male encounters.
Oh my. I saw you at the grocery store. We locked eyes for a moment.
Is that... I think you have one more action? Or was that 2 movements?
That was all 3. Yeah, it was 2 movements.
All right, and we are going to get to the undead Karen, who is a little nervous, but with no doubt is she not going to fight to the death. She is going to spend all 3 actions to send out a burst of harm, which I believe everybody is in. If you could all give me your fortitude saves and let me know what you get.
Vola rolled a 13.
Maggie rolls a 17.
Dave manages to pull off a 20.
And Tack rolled a 17.
All right, so everybody but Dave will take full 11 points of void damage, whereas Dave will only take half. She looks... That Karen bun, you know that Karen spike? That spiked hair in the back looks way more refreshed now. And we will move to Maggie, who's just taken a wave of that void damage.
Maggie is gonna stumble back a little bit, and she's gonna come back up on her feet. Is she able to use her short bow on the target? She would have to kind of, I guess, go past Tack.
You do kind of have Tack in the way, but I will give... I'll just boost the roped woman's AC by 1. So it would just be an action to withdraw the weapon and then attack. So 2 actions.
It would be 2 actions?
Total, with the unsheath and attack.
Okay, so instead of doing that, Maggie is going to cast Daze.
Oh. I hate that fucking spell. Well, when it's being used on me. Alright, she will roll. And Jesus.
Oof.
I'm so sorry.
You can do that sound again?
No.
Um,
Only for
and then-
critical hits.
And then with her last action, Maggie is just going to move slightly closer so that next turn she can hopefully hit.
She will. I believe in her. Watch, Maggie will get the last hit. Alright, Tack, that will be your turn.
All right. Well, start of his turn, seeing how his enemy is now flanked, not by him but by others. He's going to do his best to laugh manically at her in an intimidating way and try to demoralize her as a first action. And that was a 15 on the die.
That is going to be a failure.
Oh, well then. It makes no difference to him. His second action will be to swing the scourge back over his head and try to rip it into whatever zombie flesh she might have. Oh, and that's a 1 on the die.
Oh no! There's a sound effect for that one too?
Oh yeah.
Well, that's sad.
And as he completely whiffs, he's gonna, you know what? He's gonna come back and he's gonna try to do a secondary hit on the upswing to save his face, because that's what he meant to do the entire time, obviously. And so that's a 17.
With Inspire Courage, that is a hit.
And you know what? All it took was Maggie to believe in me.
I always believe in you, doll.
And that's 3 points of damage.
3 points of slashing damage to the undead Karen. And I believe that will be Dave's turn.
Alright. Seeing a good opportunity to protect all his allies, given that they're all grouped up, Dave's gonna use his tree sentinel ability to command a little kind of semi-magical tree to grow in that square there to protect his allies from the onslaught of this undead lady Karen. And then he's going to spend his last action taking another swipe at her with Elemental Blast.
Nice.
Nice.
Also, thanks to Inspire Courage.
You are right. Maggie, you may have missed your spell attacks, but you
Oof.
single-handedly contributed to 2 critical hits for 20 points of damage.
Nice.
Kablam.
I think you all know what the laugh is after I take damage.
Yes.
Almost.
Oh, 1 point?
1 point indeed.
Oh my god. Alright, and that will end Dave's turn.
And that will be Vola's turn.
Vola, seeing that she's on her last limb here, will strike down with her dagger again, sort of eagerly looking for the kill, and rolls a 16
16 is going to hit because she is off guard to you.
for 8 points of damage.
And with a swift swipe of your dagger, off comes that unhinged jaw.
Ooh.
An undead Karen falls to the ground. Undead.
Nice.
Where she will now be hinged in reality. This 10-minute break has been sponsored by Bananas.
Hey guys, Justin here. I'd like to take some time to talk about our sponsor, us. If you like what you hear and want to support the show and the studio, please consider becoming a patron at patreon.com/playpretendstudios. Becoming a patron can get you access to our community Discord, ad-free shows, and even live streams of our recording sessions, depending on the tier, of course. Your support helps me bring all of this to life, and as we gain more support, we can add more to the pipeline. On patreon.com/playpretendstudios, you can find my roadmap for the studio. Our first goal is to hit 100 patrons, and once we hit that goal, we're going to add a free-form discussion show, where another host and I will talk about all sorts of things relating to tabletop role-playing games, whether it's current events, game design philosophy, RPG horror stories, anything really. Projects beyond that in the roadmap include a Game Master Advice / theory crafting show, homebrewed content for your favorite systems on a monthly basis, and my personal favorite, a new game of the week show, where we play a new game for a few sessions to help spotlight games that don't get as much coverage as 5th edition or even Pathfinder 2nd edition. And last but not least, the final goal would be a second actual play show, but not one in 5th edition or Pathfinder, but Play Pretend Studios' own rule set, to be revealed at a later date. Once again, if you'd like to support the show, please consider becoming a patron at patreon.com/playpretendstudios and help us bring these projects to life. So, as you guys have finished combat, what would you guys like to do in this nice, mysterious-looking kind of burial chamber? It kind of looks like the stone sarcophagus. Now that you guys are out of the throes of combat, you can see that where the mining drill type thing was initially aimed at this stone sarcophagus in the center of the room, and you can see debris underneath where it's facing of stone, with maybe a half, like maybe 2 to 3 inches of penetration from that drill, which, as TAC has come to learn better than anybody, it is not quite the drill, but the magical energy that comes out of it that deals the bludgeoning damage to the stone.
And I know you said this, but I spaced out for a moment. The laser beam drill was shooting at the sarcophagus in the center, or what? Something else?
Yes.
Okay.
And then during combat, she kind of rotated it to aim at you.
Yeah.
Kabam.
What a bitch.
Right? What a dead bitch.
Rain and cloudy day, dear. Do you have any idea what this sarcophagus holds?
I have no idea, but I am willing to bet that this is not Aslanti ruins as I had thought.
No? Do you think it might be some other kind of ruin? That sounds exciting.
Maybe. I think I'm definitely gonna get what I need for my confirmation. I don't know what they would have wanted in that sarcophagus, but Vola looks pretty strapping. Maybe she could help us crack into this thing.
Are these the same bandits that left you for dead?
I don't recognize either of them, but they're wearing the same clothing. He's going to kneel down. He's going to walk up to Vola. Vola, you're up in the north. Are you investigating that one?
Yeah, I was gonna search her corpse.
So on her corpse, you are going to find a dagger and not much else other than her robe. But if you could roll a secret perception for me. As you're looking at the dead robed figure, you open up the robe to find, whatever she has on her persons. You don't see anything but a dagger, kind of your typical adventuring stuff, like some rope. But on the inside of the robe, you notice stitched into it is an emblem of a fly with a skeleton on it.
Do I recognize that symbol?
Give me a secret religion check. You're pretty unfamiliar with that symbol.
Alright. I will take my dagger and cut the symbol out of her robes.
Okay.
To hold on to. And ask everybody else, do you recognize this symbol?
Anybody who'd like to attempt to can make me a secret religion check.
Okay, Maggie's gonna do that.
I might take society as well, if anybody is better in that.
Tack is trained in society.
Tack, you've seen this symbol before. You're not quite familiar what it attaches to, but sailing throughout the inner seas, you have seen this. You've seen this symbol in some of probably getting closer to Geb, the nation of undead.
I've seen that. That's been ablazed on several ships in the harbor and around Geb with those undead creatures.
What are undead doing here?
Seems like a fitting adornment to these individuals. We return to the grave, at least one of them. Tack's gonna bend down and investigate this other one.
Okay, you are, at least inventory-wise, you see she has her scythe, and she bears the same emblem inside of her robe of a fly with a skull on its, kind of its exoskeleton, its neck, whatever you want to call that on a fly.
Thorax.
Thorax. Yeah.
Yeah, the Lorax. Yeah, the thorax, thank you. So you also find a symbol that is identical to that emblem on a little charm around her neck, where her unhinged jaw is now sans the jaw.
Tack will take that object and very uncaringly just kind of like pull it through the neck bones, not even trying to go around the head.
Oh, so just with a little bit of...
Yeah, just a sharp little snap as it goes through.
You guys can take your time to heal, refocus anything that you need.
That feels much better.
Maggie's just gonna hum to herself while focusing.
Dave just kind of stitches his mossy fungus bits back together.
Rain can also assist in healing, so even better on the hand of waving.
I just imagine Tack sitting there on the ground, staring at this corpse while Rain and Cloudy Days just kind of like tending to him like a little mushroom buddy.
It kind of shows the spectrums of the world as you look at this grotesque undead creature, and then just 5 feet away from it, a very cute mushroom man. stitching his fungus flesh back together, with sweet old Maggie humming a tune. So, what else would you guys like to do in this room?
Can we try opening this sarcophagus?
Yeah, so there will be, from what you guys can tell, there's kind of two ways to do it. The stone, the lid, it seems to be sealed. There's no seams between what you would assume to be the lid and the body of the sarcophagus. There's a couple pickaxes lying around. Kind of seems like the figures that were in here tried at first, gave up, and brought that really nifty drill looking thing down.
Maggie's just gonna she's gonna try and detect magic and look at this drill and kind of like look puzzled, just kind of circling it.
So as you study it, you find that you are obviously detecting magic from it, but it kind of gives you a little more insight into how it works. You see a little bit, some levers that you will probably figure out pretty easily that you just need to kind of push forward, and that's probably what sends the beam ahead.
Oh, I had one of these on the farm one time, and it was a little bit tricky to maneuver at first, but I believe there is a lever that if we push, the laser beam will... Oh, well, right now, Vola, dear, it will attack you. Maybe we can use this to get into the sealed sarcophagus.
So it'll probably just take you guys maybe about an hour or two.
Before we start drilling into it, can Vola look for any sort of mechanism, maybe on the sarcophagus or within the room?
Yeah.
That might unlatch the...
Kind of a whole room sweep?
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead and give me perception. You don't find any mechanisms that would, trigger any traps or anything. One of the things you do look behind that kind of seems like, that might hide something. There is a tapestry hanging right behind one of these statues in the center of the room. It depicts what looks like a kind of a grand battle between two armies. It looks like it's worth something.
Do you think we should take this tapestry?
Could be important. Why not?
I don't think the decorators would mind, dear.
The guild seems to thrive on collecting artifacts from across the world. I don't see why we shouldn't collect this one as well.
You could hang it on a wall somewhere.
Well, we'll carefully remove it from the wall and roll it up.
Okay, I just created a party loot token, which I believe everybody should have ownership of.
Mm-hmm.
So it is mystified. That is not because it's magical. It's mystified because of what the battle or what the tapestry is depicting. I believe a society check to figure that out would be just fine. It would need to be secret for anybody who wants to give it a go.
Oh, we'll give it a go.
When you've been to enough ports, you start to learn about society.
I spent most of my life in the woods.
Okay, none of you can really quite nail down like a specific battle. But Tack and Vola, you notice that it is particularly old. Just in kind of the age of the material. And Tack, you kind of recognize a little bit of the artistry from things you've seen around. It resembles art that you've seen near like Nex and Geb. A little bit closer to the Mwangi Expanse.
Are the people or the creatures in the tapestry, can we tell what ancestry they are?
So the artistry is a little vague, almost akin to like caveman drawings,
Okay.
but a little better than that. But you do see that one side of the so-called battle resembles the figures have like this weird green outline to them, and then the opposite side is fairly plain, just outlined black. But they are depicted as the ones who are losing. Many of the figures have fallen and are dead. All right, so Vola has not detected any mechanisms that suggest there is a trap anywhere. If you guys would like, you can continue with the demolition.
While those guys are doing that, if I were to ask Rain if he knew anything about this, what would he say?
I really don't know. I was kind of half expecting to find some Aslanti ruins. I don't think this resembles anything from the Aslanti civilization. This is, I don't know, maybe similar to up north? Maybe the, like, Taldor or the Kelids?
Don't worry, we'll find out. These guys are pretty smart.
I am going to step away as we're destroying the sarcophagus, though.
Yes, everybody should step away. I'm going to pull the lever now.
Put on your safety glasses.
Maggie is going to tiptoe and reach really high up to pull this lever. She's just touching it, and then she pulls it down with all of her might.
And quickly you hear the little engine inside begin to whir and spin as a blue beam of energy kind of and knocks into the sarcophagus. Kind of rinse and repeat for like the next hour until you finally start to see it really penetrate into the sarcophagus. You all begin to feel like an oppressive force fill the room. If everybody can roll me secret will saves.
Oof. I may have a feat that's relevant. Is this an emotion effect?
Yes.
Sweet.
So as everybody starts to feel kind of this feeling of dread overcome your minds, Maggie, you can feel something trying to weigh you down, but you push it off fairly easily with your beaming optimism. Dave, something really overcomes you. Your vision seems to black out for a moment. You hear screams of women and children. You hear the sounds of swords colliding with flesh. Rise, my soldier! And your vision returns. Vola, Tack, you are frightened 1. Not too relevant. Dave, for a moment you are frightened 2 and fleeing.
Oof.
I'm going to say that you are at least of a decent sound mind to avoid any of the traps, but I would say you'd probably just book it down the hallway to avoid whatever you guys may have potentially just unleashed.
Dave's just gonna scream guys, we gotta go. I don't know what that is, but I don't like it.
Rain's just gonna I think it's okay. I think it's just probably something ancient to try to throw us off. I don't think nobody's hurt, right?
It's just shivers down the spine. Get back here, you goddamn mushroom. Don't leave us.
So with a little more effort, you can crack into the sarcophagus. Inside, you find a suit of armor. It is chainmail. It has dozens of vines weaving in and out of the links. You will also find a greatsword, some unusual looking chains, and 2 spell scrolls of harm.
Oh my goodness, it looks older than me.
As you guys set your eyes on this chainmail, you feel that oppression try to penetrate your mind again. No will saves necessary. It seems like a very powerful relic. Maybe not relic, but at least the source of that feeling that you had.
It was the chainmail, you said?
Yeah. Should be called Unusual Chainmail from Crypt. The unusual chains, not dread-inducing.
Guys, are you okay?
We're fine.
Dave, dear, come back. We're perfectly fine.
Are you sure?
Yes, come here. Maggie's gonna open up her arms.
Okay, so it would be a crafting check to identify the chains. Vola, the unusual chains seems to be just really shitty chainmail.
Doesn't look like anything special to me.
This was just a burial place. And the skeletons probably gotten smashed around by that laser.
And what do we have here? Let me see if I can find out what we've got here. here. I've been around a little bit. I've seen a thing or two, heard a thing or two. Let me see now.
Okay, so you, studying these chains, you find them to be something that you wrap around your body to assist you in defenses, otherwise known as twinning chains. So you gain the thorns reaction. In addition to their dangers, the chain's weight also increases your armor's bulk by 1. But if you are to be hit by an unarmored attack, you can use your reaction to deal damage to them.
Now, Vola and Takdir, I believe this might be good for either of you.
Well, I already have a couple reactions if Vola would like this. But if it's not your style, I can take it.
Yeah, I have a few reactions too, so up to you.
I mean, there's also some pretty cool chainmail in the sarcophagus. So, if anybody would like to learn more about the chainmail in the sarcophagus, it would be a religion or arcana check.
That stinks of elf magic.
Vola, off of some sheer dumb luck, you remember hearing of a story when you were young. When you grew up, or where you grew up, the land had a very sour taste in their mouth from the undead. And you were told the stories of grave knights, of cursed knights that were mystically bonded to their armor. They were an undead sort. They were never good. And this chainmail brings back those memories.
Ugh, I do not want this chainmail.
Rain's gonna kind of perk up. I think this chainmail is my relic for my confirmation.
You think so?
I mean, it definitely looks... It looks old enough, I think. And it scared the crap out of you when we first opened it up.
That's true.
With my check, do I know if there's any negative effects for carrying it with us?
Not for carrying it,
Okay.
but for sure for wearing it.
All right.
Put it on, see what happens.
Well, Rain, it sounds like you got something to carry.
I have a way of motivating people.
Says while clutching his whip.
Yeah, Rain's gonna eye your scourge up and down, and you know, I think that's fair. This is my confirmation. I should carry the loot, or at least the relic.
Yeah.
Well, perhaps we should leave before the others come back.
Yeah, let's head back to Casimir. We can reach out to the society, to the lodge, and we can get the hell out of Casimir. And that's where we will end this week. As
Nice.
you all will come back next week, you'll be level 3.
Oh, fancy.
Wow.
Ooh.
Ka-ching.
Chronicle uses trademarks and or copyrights owned by Paizo Inc., used under Paizo's community use policy. We are expressly prohibited from charging you to use or access this content. Chronicle is not published, endorsed, or specifically approved by Paizo. For more information about Paizo Inc. and Paizo products, visit paizo.com.
I'm just sitting in my chair dancing to the imaginary outro music.